All right, champions, get ready to power up your classrooms and unleash the full potential of your students with this asynchronous professional development session on QSSSA. Are you ready to supercharge your student engagement? Imagine this. You've just posed an incredible, thought-provoking question to your class, the kind that makes brains buzz. Now picture the response. Is it a sea of blank stares, the same three hands shooting up, or worse, that awkward silence that stretches on and on? We pour our energy into crafting amazing lessons and questions, but sometimes getting every student to participate, to articulate their thoughts, feels like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. What if there was a simple yet incredibly effective framework to transform those silences into a symphony of student voices? Get ready to unlock a strategy that turns every student into an active participant. Let's power up. This strategy directly aligns with T-Test Domain 2 instruction, specifically Dimension 2.3 communication. It's all about ensuring students have rich opportunities to use academic language and articulate their thinking and engage in meaningful dialogue. Our objective for this training is clear. Participants will be able to identify the components of the QSSSA strategy and articulate its benefits for increasing student engagement and academic discourse. The letters in QSSSA stand for question, signal, STEM, share, and assessment. 5 simple moves that guide students from thinking to speaking to demonstrating understanding. Now let's practice QSSSA together. Here's your question. Why is it important for students to have structured opportunities to talk during learning? Please use one of the sentence stems to respond. Structured talk is important because it allows students to, or when students engage in structured discussion, they are able to. Your signal. When you're ready to respond, please give a thumbs up. And now it's time to share. The person with the shortest name gets to share first, then continue around the group until everyone has had a chance to speak. A. Assess. The facilitator will select 3 people to share out. Go Panthers! You have just completed the entire QSSSA protocol. Now that we've actually started with practice, let's go back and review what each letter stands for in QSSSA. Q question. You, the teacher, pose an open-ended academic question. S signal. Students individually think and then signal when they are ready to respond. S stem. You provide a sentence stem to scaffold their academic language. S share. Students share their responses with a partner or small group. A assess. You assess student understanding and provide accountability. Why is QSSSA so powerful? Because it systematically addresses common challenges in classroom discussions: uneven participation, lack of academic language use, and students not having enough time to formulate their thoughts. It transforms passive listening into active verbal processing. Now, let's take a peek into Ms. Davidson's classroom at Reed Middle School. Can you identify the components of QSSSA in her lesson? Please note what you observe and be prepared to discuss what stood out for you with an elbow partner.
Appear on the continent that are far apart. So we've got North America over here, Europe over here. Why do similar fossils appear on the continent that are far apart? So you're going to answer this question using one of the purple sentence stems. So either A, I think the fossils are on both continents because, and write your answer. So you're writing the sentence and your answer. Or B, one reason the same organisms are found far apart today is that their habitats were once, and you're filling in the blank. So you are answering the question again. Why do similar fossils appear on the continent that are far apart using one of the purple sentence stems on page 221. Once you have gotten your answer written down, you're just going to lean back in your chair and fold your arms so I know you're ready to proceed.
Okay. I think the fossils are on both continents because it may come from a certain group of people who came from the same place.
Alessandra.
One reason the same organisms are called far apart today is that their habitats were once the same.
On both continents because they were two of the same fossils that was far away from each other.
Alright, I like it.
Nicely done, Miss Davidson's class. Now, with your elbow partner, discuss some ahas, highlights, questions, or anything else that stood out to you before we move on. You've reached the impact zone. Power up, champions! You now have the blueprint for QSSSA. But how do we sustain this energy and adapt it to our unique classroom environments? Well, here's some strategies for implementation and adjustments. Start small. Don't try to implement QSSSA perfectly in every single discussion right away. Pick 1 or 2 times a day or one specific subject to start. Be explicit. Teach your students the QSSSA routine. Explain each step while you're doing it and what your expectations are. Model it repeatedly. Provide visuals. Create an anchor chart with the QSSSA steps and common sentence stems. Refer to it frequently. Vary your questions. Keep your questions fresh and engaging. Connect them to real-world scenarios or provoke higher-order thinking. Listen and reflect. After using QSSSA, take a moment to reflect. What went well? Where did students struggle? How can you refine it for next time? Embrace silence, especially during the signal phase. Give students the gift of time to think. It feels awkward at first, but it's essential. And finally, differentiate your stems. For students needing more support, provide simpler stems. For advanced learners, challenge them with more complex ones or ask them to create their own. Now, let's check out these statistics. A 2024 study on emergent bilingual students found that 7 weeks of QSSSA implementation led to a measurable positive impact on vocabulary retention and usage in instructional activities. In traditional classrooms, typically only 10 to 15% of students participate in verbal questioning. While in QSSSA classrooms, by using the signal, teachers achieve 100% participation. For emergent bilingual students, this eliminates the silent period where they might otherwise opt out of the lesson. Please note, feedback is essential for a meaningful academic discourse. It's not just about giving responses after a discussion, it's about helping students understand how to improve and grow. Without this feedback, the discourse remains just talk, but with it, it becomes a pathway to deeper learning. As the great educator Rita Pearson once said, and it resonates deeply with QSSSA, every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. QSSSA provides a clear pathway for you to be that champion, fostering an environment where every student's voice is heard and valued. Now, go forth and be great using your new QSSSA superpower.